On July 31st, 2025 at 4:01 a.m., I fueled up and took a picture of my receipt next to my odometer and started an Iron Butt Association SaddleSore 1000, a grueling test of endurance where the rider tries to complete 1,000 miles in under 24 hours. Considering Richard has completed 2 of them on a Halcyon 250, I figured I would have plenty of time on a Halcyon 450, which is much more capable on the highway. But little did I know the setbacks and challenges that would bring this attempt down to the wire and question my ability to finish it. Yes, that says 3:50 a.m. It's a little damp on the ground, and I'm about to take off and ride this Halcyon 450 from Goshen, Indiana to Sturgis, South Dakota for the Sturgis Rally. It also happens to be just over 1,000 miles. Probably gonna end up being about 1,070, something like that. So it seemed like a good opportunity to also attempt a SaddleSore 1000 through the Iron Butt Association. So that just means 1,000 miles in under 24 hours. So also going to attempt to do that. I guess without further ado, let's get loaded up and get started. All right, so the first step is we gotta go fill up with gas. And that's actually how you document this whole SaddleSore to be submitted. Is by keeping track of your fuel receipts. I think I have everything. Sure hope so. Alright, here's our starting line. That's our fuel to start. Hopefully we don't need it, but we do have some spare fuel here. Of course we will need it. Alright, we're officially started at 4:01. So now, let's just get the beeline all sorted. We want Sturgis, no tolls, Badlands 2. This is our route. Saying 20 hours, hopefully it's a little bit less than that. The one toll is going into the Badlands National Park if we choose to do so. Alright, so we are going to hit go, navigate to the start of the route, no. So it should take us from here. You can see it's all linked up on our beeline. Alright, we're ready to hit it. So I put all my rain gear on because all yesterday it was saying it was going to be raining right now. It's been drizzling a little bit. You can see the roads are wet. But I think we might miss the worst of them. You know, famous last words, of course, I'll probably get bored on, but I put all my rain gear on anyways. Because I did not want to start it'll probably end up being like a 20-hour ride. Did not want to start that soaking wet. If you're curious about some of the ride dynamics of the Halcyon 450, there's another YouTuber who has a Halcyon 450. His channel is Rev Free Moto. He just did an awesome video talking about 0 to 60 speeds and highway handling on this Halcyon 450. I'll link that down in the description if that's something you want to check out after this video. It's really cool. It's fun to see. Obviously, you know, we can put out that information ourselves on our own channel, but somehow it feels more, you know, genuine coming from other people who have, you know, tried it on their own bikes. Alright, I made a quick stop to double check that my luggage was secure, and it is. But now it's definitely raining. Definitely raining. Alright, status 4. Still sucks. From what I could tell in the forecast, things should clear up as we move west. Oof. This is brutal right now. At this point, the rain caused some issues with my external microphone that was plugged into my camera. I'd offer some insight into what was going through my head currently, but as I recall, it would mostly need to be bleeped out. Eventually, the rain did die down, and the low fuel light started to blink on my speedometer, so I began to think about making my first fuel stop. I topped off, grabbed my receipt to track my progress, and continued on. Eventually, things started to lighten up and dry off. Alright, making my fuel stop.
What year is it?
This is brand new.
What cc is it?
About 450. We shed our rain gear. Got a snack. Got a Red Bull. Oh, should be good to go. My bike was fueled up. I was fueled up, and I just crossed the Mississippi, but little did I know something was about to happen that would drastically change the course of this SaddleSore attempt. Well, the bike started to not feel great, so I pulled over. And it looks like we have a flat tire in front. Can't tell if there's something in it. I'm gonna see how far to the next exit because I don't really want to work on it right here. Oh, it's a ways to the next exit. Well, I'm gonna try to air it up. See if it'll hold pressure. Got this handy pump from Mitch. Okay, so it seems like I'm able to at least put some air in it. So I'm hoping I can get to the next exit. I'll take another peek when I get there and see what kind of pressure we're at to see if it's holding it or if we're losing pressure. Well, this is not going to help my goals here. Alright, so we get off here. Oh, and check our tire. The tire certainly doesn't feel like 23. It was not at 23 psi. The tire was losing air quickly. After exploring the truck stop and making some calls, I found a Honda dealership nearby in Davenport that might be able to work on it, about 12 miles back east. I aired up the tire, found some back roads, and made my way over there. Little update, definitely had a flat on the front. Was able to get it to a service plaza, and then found a little Honda shop. Hawkeye, I believe, in Davenport. And a guy came in to work on it, so getting the tube replaced in the front. I'll be back on the way, but this is going to make things interesting. The timing is going to be a little more difficult. So big thanks to Hawkeye Motorworks. They're able to get me in quickly and find the foreign object and fix the flat. About ready to get back underway. Not quite what I had in mind for a break in the route, but here we are. It's the one we got. Quite a few miles to go. 800 miles left. There is no way. Figure while we're here, might as well fill up. We're gonna go mid-grade. See if we can get any more mileage. That's what Pete recommends. We're trying to do what Pete does. Do as Pete does. What else will we run into? Finally, I was back on the highway, but I was 4.5 hours delayed and had a long way to go. But the bike was feeling good, and so was I. Well, we're at 1686 on the odometer, which means we're over 300 miles into it, but I guess we have a long ways to go. Ethanol free, let's see what that does. 1.7. So yeah, I guess I'm not using the whole tank. Maybe some more in there I can use. I feel like I finally had one successful stage where I didn't have to pull over for anything crazy. gas station to gas station, not stopping, we're back on. They all could have been this way, it would have been a very different day today, but that's not our story.
Things were finally starting to smooth out on this journey, but the question still remained, would I even be able to complete this SaddleSore 1000 ride in the time allotted?
Okay, I was doing the math. It says we've got 714 miles to go. I don't think that's quite right with our odometer. Let's get okay, so we are almost to 400 miles, which means we have 600 miles to go. So, if we're averaging 60 miles an hour, I think we're doing 65 right now, that would take me 10 hours. If my total average speed, including stops, was 10 hours. I would get there at 3 a.m. Eastern, which would be 1 hour before the stop. So there is a slight possibility, but I don't know if my body would make it. And that's just to complete the 1,000. That wouldn't even put me in Sturgis yet, which is where I was hoping to spend the night.
As the sun was getting lower in the west and my Rambler watch read 6:45 p.m. ET, I crossed the 500-mile mark on my odometer. It was discouraging to be that late in the day and only hitting the halfway mark. But I kept running the numbers in my head. I knew that there was a chance I could complete this if I just kept going.
Just got on the 90. Beeline says 436 miles. Woo! Let's go!
What year?
It's 2024.
No way. They just make it look retro.
Yeah. Yep.
Suppose you hope you never have to use that, huh?
This is the one I already used.
As the sun set, the Halcyon 450 ate up these highway miles, and hope still lingered in the air. Maybe I can still complete the SaddleSore 1000 in time.
It is officially night. Still cruising. About 290 miles, I think, to complete the SaddleSore. 358 to get to where I'm staying tonight. Still feeling pretty good, so I think I'm gonna keep going.
As the night went on, my visor got covered in bugs, and after washing it at a fuel stop, I ran into more audio problems. But that wasn't the biggest issue. I still had not met the final boss of this trip. The later it got and the closer I got to Sturgis, the more fuel stations were closed for the night. After passing 2 gas stations I hoped to fill up at, I ran out of gas. Luckily, I had my MSR bottle that gave me enough fuel to get to the 3rd station. But as I was headed to my next and last fuel stop of the 1,000-mile attempt, I could see lightning in the distance over the road. I was headed right into a thunderstorm, and this one looked gnarly. So, I made my final fuel stop, covered my backpack, put on my rain gear, put my visor down, and prepared for the final battle. Will this storm be the end of my attempt, or can I ride through it? As the rain started and the wind blew harder, I thought about calling it quits, but I was just 40 miles away from my goal of 1,000 miles, and I had just 1 hour to do it. The next 20 miles was some of the hardest rain I've ever ridden through. The wind was pushing me to the side of the road. I slowed down to 40 miles per hour. Eventually, I pulled off to check the radar and see if this would continue for hours. Every mile seemed like I was taking a bigger risk. But when I pulled out my phone and I saw that I was on the western edge of the storm, and I had just 20 miles to go, and it was 3:26 a.m. ET. I had 35 minutes to go 20 miles. I decided I was too close to call it at this point. I had to finish this thing. I couldn't believe it came down to this. The timing was so tight, but if I wanted to finish this, if I wanted to accomplish my goal, I had to keep going. So I did. The rain started to lessen, I picked my speed back up, dodged a weird animal in the road, and then finally I crossed 1,000 miles on my odometer as nature's fireworks were going off overhead. I pulled into the next gas station in Wall, South Dakota and got my last receipt to mark the end of the SaddleSore 1000 attempt. The receipt read 1:51 a.m. Mountain Time, 3:51 a.m. ET, 23 hours and 50 minutes from my start receipt to my end receipt. I couldn't believe it ended up being that close. And about an hour and a half later, I rolled into my destination in Sturgis, South Dakota, and finally got some rest. Now I'm back here in Goshen, and I'm waiting to see if the Iron Butt Association will certify my ride. Because of the backtrack from the flat tire, if you track Goshen, Indiana to Wall, South Dakota, that's only 977 miles, A to B. But I documented as much as I could and submitted everything I can with my story about the flat tire, so now all I can do is wait and see if I will be recognized as an official Iron Butt rider. And of course, I'll update you when I find out. I ended up putting another 400 plus miles on Halcyon 450 number 288 over my 3 days in Sturgis, hitting up Needles, Iron Mountain Highway, and Van Acker Canyon Road, among other great rides. I was up and riding the next day with sore legs and bloodshot eyes, but the incredible roads around here made it all worth it. So stay tuned for more from our adventures in Sturgis.